Gotta get pretty.
You're already pretty.
Aw. Hey everyone, Dana Leslie back for another Disney dining review.
We are headed to the newest restaurant on Disney World property, Roundup Rodeo BBQ, and I did it right that time.
We have both been calling this thing Woody's Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, whatever. Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. This thing just opened 2 days ago. So we are super excited. We have purposefully not looked at any reviews and we have no idea what to expect going in.
Yeah, so this is $45 per adult for lunch, and then $25 per child for lunch. I believe that the dinner price is the same, and so it's all day. But this is an interesting concept. I've seen photos, I've seen glimpses of the inside, and I think that it's gonna be super cute. I'm really looking forward to the ambiance and theming here. I'm hoping that it goes off without a hitch. Not only that, I adore the names of the food items on this menu.
I mean, food items names aside, it looks very tasty. What is on the menu here?
It really does. So starting with cocktails, there are some grown-up drinks that you can get to include the snake eye margarita or the rodeo mule or a grown-up's iced chocolate and rum. There's a couple of others, but with the actual meal itself, you start out with the Prospector's homemade cheddar biscuits with sweet pepper jelly, and then your table enjoys all three of the salads. There's a Wheezy's watermelon salad, Rex's romaine and kale salad, and a Rootin' Tootin' tomato salad. Then you get to choose one of either like the platter that has the meat choices or the platter that has the plant-based choices. And then for your table, you get to select 4 of the reach for the sides, which have lots of different options. And then each person gets to choose a Chuck Wagon dessert to finish off your meal.
I am really, really excited about this, not only because, number one, Hollywood Studios is adding another restaurant, which they desperately need. Number 2, it's table service. Number 3, it is barbecue. We love our barbecue joints. Obviously, Polite Pig is our favorite, but other theme parks already have some pretty decent barbecue options, from Flame Tree Barbecue over at Animal Kingdom, or Regal Eagle over at Epcot. Like, those are pretty decent options. So hopefully this lives up to at least that quality.
Yes, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait to see this theming inside because Toy Story theming is just simply adorable to begin with. And I'm ready to go.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and we are almost late. We are taking the kids with us today, so I hope they enjoy it too. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Our theming is amazing. We walked in and the person that sat us asked if we wanted to ride horses to our table, and I said, I think the answer to that is always yes.
Always yes.
Always yes. And so she gave us 2 little horses on sticks, and so Jennings and I rode our horses into the restaurant. I galloped. Jennings refused to gallop, but
I did not ride my horse.
Once we were coming in, Andy came and they announced it overhead, and I kid you not, every person in this entire restaurant froze in place. It was really cool.
We got all of our appetizers and our drinks. So I got the snake eye margarita, which comes with a little slice of lime and watermelon on top. Let's see how this thing, it comes in like a mason jar, which is pretty cool right there. Oh, it's kind of watermelon-y. It's not the best margarita I've ever had, but it's themed well, and it's decent.
Okay, so I got the rodeo mule. mule. I've never had either, but once again, very cute.
I wouldn't come here for the drinks.
The plates, though, they look like the old school, like paper plates, but they're glass. And I mean, that's a cute.
That is
cute
really
addition.
awesome. For our appetizers that every table gets no matter what, we've got the biscuits that come with some sort of pepper jam, right?
Yes, I like that.
The pepper jam is tangy. It's not super spicy. It does have a little bit of kick to it, but the biscuits are light and fluffy and done really, really well.
This is the watermelon salad. So it has some mint on it. So there's like not anything special about it necessarily. I mean, the mint adds a little bit, but not anything like over the top. And then there is a tomato and cucumber salad.
It's fresh, but there's not a lot of flavor to it, so not my favorite. Every table gets 3 different salads. The last salad, what is this?
It's like a kale and apple salad.
Basic salad.
It has apples and little cranberries in it. I didn't get any of the cranberries. But I mean, it's pretty simple, nothing like over the top crazy, but it's kind of nice to have the 3 different options.
Reach for the sides. Forest-field fried pickles, the married studs, campfire roasted veggies, and our slinky dog mac and cheese.
I like it.
Okay, so this looks actually really, really, really good. It comes out with I mean, there's a lot of food here. We have ribs, we have brisket, we have sausage, we have chicken with all kinds of different peppers in the middle of that platter. And then for the sides, we got the loaded tots, I don't remember what those are called, the mac and cheese, the campfire roasted veggies, and the fried pickles.
You gotta get the Slinky Dog mac and cheese so that they say it like that because it's amazing.
They also have 3 different sauces that are already on the table whenever you get set, and it's sweet, normal, and spicy. We tried all 3 before our food arrived. I prefer the spicy, but
I do too.
the normal and the spicy have a nice tang to them. The sweet is just like a normal sweet sauce that you find at any grocery store. So nothing special there. I think we're gonna dig in.
As far as sides go, they were okay. So we got the campfire roasted vegetables. I thought they were really pretty good. Like they had a decent flavor to them, and they were cooked well. The kids did not, however, like them, but they're not big zucchini and squash fans, so they didn't really eat those. The mac and cheese I thought was pretty good. It was nice. The fried pickles were a good flavor and like crispy. I was a little nervous whenever they first came out because there wasn't any dipping sauce to put them with. Last but not least, we got the loaded tater tots, which, to be honest, was my least favorite part. But
they were really salty. As far as the main courses, I also like the selection here. So it comes with chicken, ribs, brisket, sausage. The execution, the flavor is not the best barbecue I've ever had. This is somewhere between Regal Eagle and Polite Pig for me. Definitely not nearly as good as Polite Pig. The brisket here is really, really fatty. There's like a good solid inch thick layer of fat that should have been trimmed off at least a little bit before smoking that thing. I think the temperature of the chicken was done very, very well. The flavor was not quite there for me on the chicken. The ribs, again, they were cooked like the temperature, the tenderness of the ribs was done very, very well. But again, the flavor, like I definitely wanted the barbecue sauce to enhance the flavor some. So I prefer like when my barbecue is seasoned and it can stand on its own, and then you just accent a little bit with a sauce if you really like that sauce. But what happens is if you need the sauce, then I ended up putting on a little too much, and so the tanginess overpowered all of the meat. So it wasn't the best execution in the world, but it was not bad.
So I thought everything was pretty good. Opposite to Mom, I think my favorite side was the tater tots. My drink would be good for like any youngin' you have that likes chocolate milk.
I thought it was all very good. My favorite thing was the brisket, unsurprisingly. I really liked the mac and cheese as well. The tater tots, I agree with Mom and Dad. They were very salty.
Okay, then finally we have dessert, which comes in these little tiny bitty mason jars here.
very cute.
I got the lemon blueberry cheesecake.
I got the apple. The apple is very, very good.
That's the best thing I've had here so far, actually.
All right, so we're gonna give you the rest of our thoughts at home. We tried one of each of the pies, and we will fill you in.
All right, finish this up at home.
All right, we are back.
All right, so that was fun. I have a lot of thoughts. Before we get into that though, if you are looking to plan your next magical vacation, please reach out to us over at fantasticalvacations.com. We plan Disney destinations, Universal, cruise lines, and all-inclusive resorts.
Let's talk just for a moment about this. It is all you care to enjoy. We did have a question about that. It absolutely is. It is also sans characters. So whenever this was first announced, we were wondering if it was going to be a character dining experience. We figured out, later on that it was not. But honestly, I'm glad it wasn't, because it would have taken away from what they were doing in the atmosphere.
Yeah, so ambiance and theming, it is so cute in there, just like everywhere else in Toy Story Land. It was just so well done. I had this perfect view of a giant push pin in the wall, that was holding this little string of flags it's a giant push pin. They brought Dan a giant pencil to sign the check with. It was just very cute. My favorite part was when Andy comes and literally the entire restaurant freezes in position. You get in your pose and you stay there until he passes.
The wait staff was very much in character. They just opened, so that might wear off whenever they get tired of it, but this was the third day of operation, so they were still very much into it. It was fun, it was energetic, it was great. The space was done pretty well, the ceilings, the floors, the walls, everything was decorated to Toy Story.
Down to the bathroom, really.
I was just about to mention the bathroom. The bathroom was decorated very well. We each went in our respective bathrooms. The bathroom for the men's room was very small. It had one ADA stall, one regular stall, and one urinal for that entire restaurant. It's just not enough. Jennings and I walked in together, and the non-ADA stall was in use, and so I had to wait on him for the urinal, and then two people walked in after me, so there was a line of three awkwardly standing in this small space waiting.
It's the first time I've ever been in a women's bathroom that there wasn't a line, so...
Yeah, something's backwards. All of that to say, ambiance and theming, we gave a 5.
Yes. Service. Our waitress started out so good. I mentioned on the video, I think, that she gave us horses that we could gallop in on, and just very energetic, very into it. Cute little phrases she was like, oh, I get to meet my new toys, and just very much in character like the rest of the wait staff. Somewhere in the middle of our meal, things went drastically downhill with just, I don't know if she went on break or if something happened, but it was like she wasn't around at all. So we sat there for a very, very long time after finishing all of our food.
And then it just kept getting worse. We asked for Aiden's drink to be refilled twice before it actually ever ended up getting refilled, and that was at the end of the meal, at the end of the desserts. It started off pretty good and then went south, below average for sure, so she didn't do so great. I will say that this is day 3, so yeah. I'm sure they're still smoothing things out. Hopefully that gets better. My guess is the theming, the waitstaff being in character, is probably going to fall off a little bit, and their service will probably pick up a little bit. It is what it is.
For now, we're saying that service is a 2.5. I do think that it being day 3 played into that a little bit. So maybe take that into consideration whenever you're looking at the overall score here. Hopefully, whenever you have a chance to go, it's higher than that because they've kind of worked out their whole routine.
Let's talk about drinks. Drinks are not great, just to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The adult beverages, we each tried one. They're themed, they're named, but they just don't taste very good. You can tell they're just in a big vat of something that they're pouring into a mason jar with ice in it. So you kind of write those off. I definitely would not get those there. Mm-hmm. The kid drinks, Jennings actually enjoyed his kid's drink. He rated his between a 3.5 and 4. So we took that into consideration. So the kids themed drinks are okay?
Yeah. So we actually, we rated drinks a 2.5 as well because we felt our drinks were probably a 2. My mule was very watered down. It just kind of had a hint of ginger beer flavor. But Jennings raved about his. He absolutely loved it. He thought it was fantastic. So we bumped it up to a 2.5.
Let's talk about food real quick. I will give Disney credit for consistency. They have taken the theme of great theming and mediocre food into this restaurant with all of Hollywood Studios restaurants. So there's that. The food was cooked well, not seasoned great. There were only two like real complaints I had with our meal. One was the tater tots that were loaded were way too salty, so I really couldn't eat those. And the second one was the brisket. While cooked well, they didn't trim the fat cap at all. There was a solid inch of fat. It was like at least a third of the brisket slice was fat, almost a half of the brisket slice was fat. So that was just kind of gross because there was a pile of fat left on our plates from just like 2 slices of brisket.
Yeah, and if you doused it in the one of the 3 barbecue sauces that they gave you, then the flavor was fantastic. But, you know, we kind of are of the thinking that, you know, good barbecue should be able to stand alone without a sauce. And so that's kind of why we found, even though it was cooked well, because the flavor wasn't there, it got marked down a little bit on that. But the sides were fantastic. I was very impressed with the sides.
Except for the tater tots.
Well, yes, except for the tater tots. But and then the salads were just so-so. So.
Oh, and the dessert. We didn't even talk about the dessert. The dessert was actually good.
The dessert was fantastic. It was the best part of the whole meal.
Yep.
So we each got a different flavored dessert. So we each got a different kind so that we could try all 4. And all 4 of them were knockout fantastic.
Ironically, we all thought the one that we ordered was the best. So just order whatever sounds good to you for your preference and it's going to be good. So yeah, they were really good. So all in all, we gave food a 3.5. We do think it was better than average, but not something that we'd go out of our way to experience again.
I think the biggest thing overall with this is that for the 4 of us, because we have 4 people above the age of 10, it was with tax and tip like $270 out the door for us. And so for that experience, mediocre food, I'm not sure that it is going to be a repeat place for us.
Oh, it definitely won't. Definitely not. You're nicer than I am. I'm not going back here for a long time.
I mean, but it was really cute and I think really well done, especially if you have Toy Story lovers in your house. Like, I think it would be, I would consider one of the must-dos for at least once.
I agree. While I'm never going back, or at least not for a long time, I am glad that we experienced once. I definitely think once is good. But value is a funny thing, especially when it comes to food. And so these are our preferences. Everything in these videos is our experience, our preferences. It's likely to change if you ate 10 minutes after us. We could go back tomorrow and probably rate it differently. That's just how the food industry is. But with the value, like if you look at Monsieur Paul, which was just a few dining reviews ago, for the 2 of us there, it was 3 times the cost that it cost today for the 4 of us to eat at Roundup Rodeo BBQ. I will say I walked out of Monsieur Paul paying that much for 2 of us, satisfied and happy with the value that we got. I walked out of Roundup Rodeo today paying a third for 4 of us to eat, and I felt kind of cheated a little bit. Like I felt like we paid too much for that experience. So it doesn't come down to cost for the meal, it comes down to the overall experience, which is why we're trying to rate on different things and give our overall experience. All that to say, all of that adds up to, what do we say?
13.5.
Which is a 3.375 out of 5 stars overall. Sorry for the weird rating there, but it is what it is.
And I think that's a solid score.
That's what I mean. Like, Roundup Rodeo is deserving of that score. I think that is right on point. It is definitely slightly above average, pretty much only for the theming. Don't go for the theming, don't go for the food. If I was going to Hollywood Studios for a very cool themed experience with mediocre food, I would still go to Sci-Fi though.
Yeah, I agree. If you are liking these videos, please hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.
And we will see you on the next video.